Hey guys, got another flashlight to take a look at. This is coming from WUBEN and the model is the C2. And one of the most interesting features about this light is that it is also a power bank. It has a 4800 milliamp battery in it. So you can charge your cell phone at least one full time or power other USB devices. But I figure we'll do a quick unboxing so you can see everything that comes with it. We'll go over all those features and specifications, show you guys how to operate the light. We'll do some outside beam shots with it, and then I'll get some thoughts on it. So it looks like we're going to have a max output of 2000 lumens. Show you some of the back stuff here in case you're interested in the LED that it's using. Looks like that 2000 lumens is going to go for about a minute before it steps down, and then it steps to 700 lumens for about 3 hours. We'll get into all those details in a bit. 5-year warranty. And this flashlight does use a 21700 battery. And from the size of the box, this light's going to be pretty small. So excited to see what that looks like. And it should have really good run times with that battery. So we got some tape on each side here that you got to pull up. And then let's see here. It looks like this lifts up out of here. There we go. Alright, so it's professional flashlight. We'll open that up in a minute. You got to pull this out. Pretty good presentation here. Let's see what we have in this one. Looks like you got to open it here. So we have a lanyard, some spare O-rings. The lanyard is adjustable. And we have the charging cable. So we're type A to type C. Get a manual. I'm sure there are multiple languages. I always like to show this just in case you guys get one and then lose the manual. And then we have the flashlight itself. Kind of interesting packaging. And so yeah, here is the C2. Got some warnings down here. Remove the battery insulation. And then the tighten the tail cap all the way so that you get contact. So it must include a battery as well, and there is a pocket clip on there. Let's just get this off of there. We'll check out the battery here. O-ring sealed on that. That is a little cover that they wanted us to take off. And again, 21700, 4800 milliamps. I don't know the exact battery. They've wrapped it with WUBEN. Fairly thick walls there, and there is a spring down in there. And that is the tail cap spring. So let me say that this is not a brand new release. I think this light was first released maybe in 2021 or so. And then sometime in 2023, they did an updated version 2, and I believe that's what I have. The manual says version 2, but I don't see like a version 2 anywhere on the light itself. Give you guys some close-ups here before we get into all the specs and everything. A little bit of heat sink up here in the head. Does have a slightly crenulated bezel. There's that SST40. Soft touch switch here. Pocket clip, and it's anodized in the same color as the light itself. So that looks pretty good. It is not a deep carry clip though. You are going to have more than an inch sticking out of your pocket, and I'll show you what that looks like later. I don't think this is a magnetic tail cap, but lots of grooves. The whole thing has almost like a I guess kind of like a satin finish. It's not a full matte and it's not like a full gloss. It actually looks really good. Then back here is the charging port and the type A so that we can charge other devices. And then there's your type C to charge the light itself. I know this has an IP68 waterproof and dustproof rating. You can submerge it, I think up to 2 meters for like an hour. So it's for sure safe to use like out in the rain, snow, humid conditions, stuff like that. It has a 1 meter drop rating to it. Grab you guys some quick measurements. Again, these are kind of unofficial. We are just right at about 5 inches in length. Try to find you the widest spot, probably up here. 1.2 inches, kind of in the head area. Body's less than that. Body's right about 1 inch. And a weight with the battery in it, 6.1 ounces. I don't know exactly what the battery charge percentage was sent to us at, but we'll go through the modes in operation and then I'll get it fully charged before we do any nighttime beam shots. Do want to show you this part up close. Again, just in case any of you buy this light and then lose it, you'll have the operation right there. So the C2 has 7 modes total. You have Eco, Low, Medium, High, Turbo, Strobe, and SOS. It's actually a pretty simple operation. It's just a single click to turn it on and then a single click to turn it off. If you want to go through the various modes, it's going to be turn it on and then hold the button down. So we'll turn it on, we'll hold the switch down, and then as you can see, it's going to go through all the different modes here. And then shut it back off. Again, a single click. Give you some quick numbers on those different modes. So we click it on. Right now, it's on the lowest mode. This light does have mode memory, so I'll go to a higher one. So we'll go here, and when I turn it back on now, it'll be on that higher one. So it doesn't always start in that Eco. It's whatever you last had it set at. But this Eco here, this is 5 lumens, and that's going to run for like 300 hours. Then the next bump up is Low. That is 130 lumens. That's going to go for about 15 hours. The next bump up, that's 400 lumens. That'll go for 5 hours. No step down at all. So 400 lumens for 5 straight hours. Next up, we have our high setting, and that does get very bright. Like I'm pretty far away from my hand, and I can really feel that heat there. That's 1200 lumens. And that will run for around 3 minutes or so, and then it'll step down to 600 lumens and run for I think 3.5 hours. And then next up we'd have Turbo. That is a double click, and that is our 2000 lumens, and that's going to run for just like a minute or so before it steps down. And then it steps to 700 lumens, and that'll go for just over 3 hours. But that is a lot of light. Again, I'll show you this at night. I'm getting a little bit warm up here on the head right now. But again, it is blinding bright. So like I mentioned, it does also have strobe and SOS. So flash warning coming up here. You can get to the strobe from either off or if you're on turbo. I'll show you both ways here, but we're off right now. It's just a double click, and that's going to give you your strobe. That I believe is 1200 lumens, and they do not list a run time for that. And then if you want to go to SOS from here, it's just another double click. And then I'll take it off, and then I'll show you from turbo. You can also double click to get the strobe. So just like that quick access to the strobe, there's also quick access to the Eco or the lowest mode. So from off, you just press and hold this and it'll come on in that lowest setting. This light does have an electronic lockout feature. You get to that by just pressing this 4 times, and then we'll get some blinks up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to blink 3 times, and basically now we're in lockout. And anytime that we press this, it's just going to blink like that. Oh, this is what blinks here now. See that? Light doesn't come on. We just get a blink there. And then to get out of that, it's going to be the same thing. We'll press this 4 times and the light will come on like in a low setting. And now we're back on. And if you didn't want to use that feature, you can always just twist the tail cap a little bit and then it won't work either. And one other little feature this has is called the breathing mode. But where this W is here for WUBEN, you can press the switch 3 times and you'll see this light up, and then it'll kind of fade away. Light up, kind of faded away. This is really useful if you want to set this like on a shelf or a dresser or stand or desk or whatever, or if you're in a tent or camping. It makes it really easy to find your light in the dark. And this draws almost no power at all, so you could leave it like this for weeks and weeks and weeks and still have a fairly well charged light when you go to use it. And if you don't want that on, it's just 3 clicks to turn it back off again. Oh, and one other thing about that little switch, it does have a built-in like battery indicator. I mentioned earlier in the video I didn't know exactly what the battery is sent to me at. When you first turn this on, if you watch this, so I'm going to turn it on just regular switch. See how that's flashing blue? That basically means we're somewhere between 90% and 40%. If I turn that on and it was a solid blue, it means we're over 90%. Turn it on and if it's a solid red, we're below 40, like somewhere between 40 and 15. And if it's flashing red, we're below 15% and definitely need to get on a charger. So right now I'm sitting somewhere between 90 and 40. All right, let's check out the power bank feature. So just got an old iPhone here. Plug it in there. And then I would assume that as soon as you plug it into the USB-A here, that it's going to power it. So let's see. And yes, immediately it starts charging this. Let's see if there we're charging. Also check it out with this fan. I've removed the battery out of it. So let's see if this will work. Working perfect. And one last thing I want to check. I got this ring light. Let's see if this little flashlight can power it. It looks like it's going to go on. Yeah, no problem at all. That's pretty sweet. And so now I'm going to get the flashlight itself charged up, and then this evening get you guys some beam shots. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's red right now. When that turns blue, it's fully charged. All right, try to give you some nighttime shots here with this WUBEN C2. It's a mostly dark room. There's a little bit of light in here, but give you guys an idea. This is the lowest setting. Kind of show you what the beam looks like on the wall there. See that light there? We'll go up through these. Again, that's a pretty nice bump up in output right there. See, it's got a really nice hot spot, but quite a bit of flood and spill as well. All right, get you guys a couple outside beam shots here. Again, we'll start off in the low setting just to kind of show you what that looks like, kind of how far that'll throw. And let's bump up to the medium. See, that's a really nice bump in output there. All right, give you one more look. There's a tree down here. It's about 80 yards away. Let's see what this looks like here. Sure how well the camera is picking up this beam, but it's a really nice beam coming off of this. Again, a fairly decent throw, but pretty good spill to it as well. Just a nice overall combination light. So hopefully seeing those nighttime shots were beneficial for you. Just keep in mind, I recorded everything on an iPhone, so it is much brighter in person than what it appears on the camera. And also the color temperature on the C2 is probably somewhere in like the 4,000 Kelvin range. And that never appears as bright on camera either. Told you I'd show you what this looks like in a pocket and how much of the light is going to stick out. It's probably at least an inch. So what are my thoughts on the C2? I think it is a fantastic flashlight, especially when you consider the price, which I'll get to in a couple minutes. It has excellent build quality. I really like the texturing. It's very grippy in your hand, but there's no like hot spots or anything that's like sharp or anything like that. It is plenty bright for most tasks that most people are going to be doing. I don't have any way of measuring if it's actually 2000 lumens or not. And that 4,000 Kelvin temperature is actually a really nice color. It's not the blue purple that's really high like 6,500, and it's not quite so yellow like the 2,500 or 3,000 Kelvin. So it's a nice temperature. It has a really good combination beam. I would say it's a little more of a throw versus a flood, but it actually does both things, which makes it a really good like multi-purpose, multi-use light. I like that it has this power bank feature, and also because it has the USB-C input, it is pretty fast charging. Sometimes these 21700s can take several hours to charge up, and this does charge relatively fast. And speaking of that, I do like that you can remove the battery, and if you have an external charger that you like to use that's maybe even faster, you can put it in there. And also you can take basically any 21700. This is a flat top here, and if you can see, it's significantly shorter than the other one, and this will work perfectly fine because of those dual springs. So I'll throw this in here and show you guys. So as you can see, it's on. We'll cycle through all the different modes. So everything works perfectly fine with any 21700. I like that it's fairly compact. Again, for a 21700, they're usually fairly big flashlights. So you can either, again, carry it in a pocket, put it in like a holster or sheath on your belt, throw it in a bag. I like that the user interface is pretty simple. I mean, you could hand it to somebody. They could figure out how to just push the button to turn it on, push the button to turn it off. And I think someone could probably easily figure out how to cycle through the different modes. Might be a little bit trickier to get to that strobe and the SOS, but just the general use of the light, I think anybody could figure that out. And I also like that it has that breathing light feature. Makes it really easy to find this in the dark. A couple things that I dislike or wish that this had. First thing would be like a true moonlight mode, like a half lumen or 1 lumen, because they do market this for camping and hiking. And typically you do want a really, really low output for some of those situations, such as, you know, trying to read a map or something along those lines. I do wish that I had a magnetic tail cap. I can see lots of uses around my house where I use other ones right now, or for people like wanting maybe to leave this in their car, you know, for roadside emergencies or anything like that, and being able to put this on the side of your car, or to like stick it under your hood, like if you're working on the engine or something. I do wish that this pocket clip were a little bit deeper. They could keep this exactly where it is now, just bring this pocket clip to where it comes up before it comes back down, and then that would sit a lot lower in your pocket. And probably the last thing I'd say is I know a lot of people's phones, starting like with the iPhone 15 and 16, and then almost all the Samsungs and everything else are all USB-C phones now, and a lot of them have C to C cables. And so I kind of wish that charging port area maybe was an in and out USB-C, because as it is here, you have to use the USB-A to charge your device. So I think that would be something nice on a future design, and just have in-out USB-C. So at the time of me recording this video, these are available on Amazon. They're coming in at basically $48. However, there's a 20% off coupon, which brings it down to like $39 or something like that. And then there's another 10% off code that you can redeem right there. So that takes like another almost $4 off. So I think they're around $35 or so. And keep in mind that 21700 battery is included, and those are like typically $8 to $10. So really it's like 25 bucks for this flashlight, which is a really, really good buy. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.